Dear Libra, what if I told you that 6 sacred numbers are already moving toward you and one of them could unlock the greatest financial and spiritual return of your life? Welcome to Zodiac Whisper Tarot. If you're watching this right now, I need you to know something from the very beginning. This message has found you on purpose. Not by accident. Not by algorithm. But because your name is already written into the cosmic current between September 7th and 9th, a portal that's being called the Jackpot Gate. During these 3 days, a rare alignment opens. The moon crosses bold Sagittarius, forming a harmonious trine to retrograde Jupiter in Taurus. Mercury, ruler of clarity and systems, is slowing to station direct in Virgo. It's a divine pause. A space and time where delayed blessings and long overdue returns finally begin to circulate. And for you, Libra, this portal whispers one thing clearly: you were never forgotten. You've been patient. You've worked in silence. You've carried grace where others collapsed. And now 6 sacred numbers are echoing back, not from the future, but from the path you've already been shaping with quiet intention. These are not lottery digits. These are energetic coordinates, deeply encoded into the very way you manage your time, your health, your money, and your hope. But before we uncover them together, I want to ask you something. What drew you here today? What inner tug? What breath? What unspoken prayer pulled you to this very message at this exact moment? Because if you've been seeing certain numbers repeatedly, if you've had dreams lately that felt different, if your body has been calling for rest, for truth, or for order, then you're not just watching a video. You're standing at the door of a divine exchange. This is not just a horoscope. This is a transmission designed for the part of you that already knows it's time to receive. Receive what you've held space for. Receive what you've silently asked for in your journal, in your kitchen, in your sleep. And Libra, before we begin, I need you to do something powerful. In the comments below, write this sentence not as a wish, but as a declaration: I confirm my alignment. I'm ready to receive the wealth that was always mine. Writing it anchors it. Seeing it reflects it. Speaking it activates it. Let this be your affirmation that you're here not to fix yourself, but to unlock what has already been ripening within you. And let me also take a quiet moment to say thank you. Thank you for showing up. Every comment, every like, every share, every subscriber, it brings you deeper into this sacred circle we call Zodiac Whisper Tarot. And it gives us the chance to continue delivering messages that shift energy, restore clarity, and ignite the kind of hope this world needs more of. So stay with me until the very end, Libra. Because what the universe is revealing through these 6 numbers, it's not just surprising. It's sacred. It's specific. And it's yours. Now, take a breath. Let's begin. There's a certain softness that arrives when the number 18 steps into your field. It doesn't make a loud entrance. It doesn't demand urgency. Instead, it settles quietly like a morning breeze after a long, restless night, gentle, but undeniably cleansing. And that's exactly the kind of energy you're being asked to embrace right now, Libra. After all that you've been carrying, suppressing, or simply surviving, this number comes not to judge what you've endured, but to help you release the residue it left behind. 18 speaks to what has felt delayed, taken, or out of reach. For many, It is the echo of financial instability, unexpected debts, missed opportunities, or situations where your effort went unseen and unrewarded. But more than the money itself, it points to the emotional weight that built up around those moments, the shame, the frustration, the silent disbelief that perhaps you were overlooked by the flow of abundance. Number 18 doesn't ask you to relive those moments. It asks you to let them go. This is the number of restoration. It is the number of returning balance, but not through control or calculation. Instead, it works through purification. Think of 18 as a spiritual rinse, clearing the inner debris that's been clogging your ability to receive. That includes the grudges you've silently held against yourself for not doing better, the stories you've replayed about how it should have gone, and the bitterness that sometimes rises when you see others receive what you once begged for. It's time to detox not just your body, but your inner dialogue. On a practical level, this energy often shows up when long overdue compensation is on its way. It could be financial payback, a reactivated investment, or even an unexpected gift that feels like a cosmic nod that says, "I saw everything. You didn't suffer in vain." The universe has its own kind of interest rate. It doesn't always pay back in the moment you ask, but when it does, it overflows. And number 18 is a gentle sign that the repayment has begun. In the body, this energy tends to concentrate around the core, the liver, the gut, the stomach. It's not a coincidence that we carry stress in these areas. The digestive system isn't just for food, it's for processing life. When we suppress grief or delay self-expression, the gut often takes the brunt. You may have noticed a heaviness there recently, or even felt that your appetite shifted. That's your body trying to speak to you. It's asking for space to breathe. Something as simple as warm lemon water in the morning is more than a wellness trend, it's an energetic ritual. It tells your body, "I care enough to cleanse you." Sitting with yourself in silence, even for just 10 minutes a day, isn't a luxury. It's a reset. It's the quiet where clarity grows. If you're someone who finds peace through prayer, this is a powerful moment to return to it, not in desperation, but in trust. There is something healing about saying, "I open my heart to the restoration that's already unfolding for me." You don't have to understand the how. You only need to make room for it. Sometimes, the miracle isn't in what appears, but in what quietly leaves. When the tension in your shoulders softens. When the fear in your belly fades. When the silence in your bank account becomes a whisper of returning value. That's the 18 frequency at work. It doesn't shout. It doesn't prove. It simply allows. And in that allowing, you begin to feel new space open within you, space that was never truly empty, only waiting to be reclaimed. There are moments when life softens unexpectedly, when help arrives before we even have the words to ask for it. That's the essence of the number 42, a frequency of quiet generosity, of doors opening not through effort, but through alignment. If you've ever had someone appear in your life just when you were beginning to lose hope, someone who made a call, extended an offer, or simply reminded you that you weren't forgotten, then you've already felt this number working through you. And right now, Libra, you're entering a window where this energy is not only present but being directed specifically at you. You see, 42 isn't about charity. It's about resonance. It's about the magnetic current that starts to flow toward you when you've been living with integrity, even when no one was watching. Whether you've been quietly staying committed to your goals, or holding space for someone else's healing while silently praying for your own, the universe has noticed. And now, something or someone is being sent to meet you where you are. This energy is subtle. It doesn't announce itself with confetti or grand gestures. More often, it takes the shape of a friend who suddenly thinks of you and forwards your name to the right person. Or a client who refers you without being asked. Or a family member who offers support just when you thought you couldn't carry one more thing alone. In those moments, number 42 is in motion, invisible, but precise. Financially, this number brings with it the energy of restoration through relationship. Not necessarily through hard-won contracts or cold negotiations, but through the simple power of connection. A loan with no strings. A job lead that asks nothing in return. A collaboration that feels natural and easeful. The idea here is that abundance is not always something you have to chase. Sometimes, it finds you through others who are moved to act on your behalf. In terms of health, number 42 speaks to the heart. Not just the physical heart and circulation, but the emotional one, the part of you that holds on to unspoken wounds, the part that closes down when life feels too heavy. If you felt tension in your chest lately, or found yourself holding your breath when you're anxious, this is a sign that your heart space is asking for release. It's asking for softness, for trust, for space to beat freely again. One thing I've learned not only through astrology but through witnessing countless lives unfold is that divine assistance rarely looks the way we expect it to. We often imagine help will arrive with signs and symbols, but most of the time, it comes through people. Real people. Busy people. Imperfect people. That's why it's so important not to dismiss what may seem small: the call, the message, the offer. Grace often hides in the ordinary. I say this gently, but firmly. Don't block the help that's on its way to you just because you feel you have to earn it. Life isn't always transactional. You don't have to suffer longer to deserve relief. Sometimes, the kindest thing you can do is receive with open hands and a quiet heart. You're not weak for needing help. You're wise for recognizing it when it comes. So if someone reaches out this week, answer. If an opportunity presents itself, explore it. If your instinct says, this feels right, then follow it even if you don't yet see where it leads. Sometimes, we plant seeds of kindness and faith that take months or years to return. But when they do, they come with interest. And that interest, Libra, is beginning to collect around you now. As you sit with this, take a moment to reflect. Who has shown up for you unexpectedly? And who might you be called to show up for next? These reflections aren't just about gratitude, they're part of the circuitry of generosity. And when you honor that circuit, you keep the current of number 42 flowing not only through your life, but into the lives of others who are still waiting for their moment of grace. Sometimes the breakthrough isn't something you foresee, it's something you finally allow. And that's exactly the lesson the number 36 is here to bring, Libra. After encountering the softness of unexpected help through the energy of 42, you're now stepping into something different, bolder, more decisive. This is where your energy starts to claim what has been delayed. The vibrations of 36 are like turning on a faucet that's been clogged for too long. At first, the flow may sputter, uneven and unsure. But then it comes clear, clean, and steady because something that was blocked has finally been released. This number is a catalyst. Not the kind that crashes into your life like a storm, but the kind that flicks a switch inside you. Suddenly, You realize that the opportunities you once chased are circling back not because you've begged for them, but because your internal structure has shifted. Old ideas that were met with silence now find eager listeners. That business plan you shelved 2 years ago, it starts to feel relevant again. And the person who ghosted your pitch, they send you a message out of nowhere. This is how 36 works quietly behind the scenes until the dam breaks. What's most powerful about this energy is that it brings forward what already belonged to you. It's not about manifesting something new out of thin air. It's about calling home what was always meant to return: money, recognition, respect. You may have felt like the channels in your life were congested, and perhaps they were. Not because you were unworthy, but because the energetic systems, your habits, mindset, self-trust hadn't yet matured to match the abundance waiting for you. And now, piece by piece, that alignment is happening. On a physical level, the number 36 often shows up when your digestive system has been under stress. You may not even realize how long you've been holding your breath when reading your bank account, clenching your jaw when someone asks about your progress, ignoring your own intuitive signals because you've been stuck in survival mode. This isn't just about food. This is about processing life itself. When your gut is overwhelmed, it's often because your emotional bandwidth has been stretched thin. And just like blocked money, blocked digestion needs release, not pressure. That's why this is a perfect time to return to structure with compassion. Not to restrict yourself, but to realign. Rewrite your financial plan not because the old one was wrong, but because you're not the same person anymore. What you want is clearer now. And more importantly, what you won't tolerate is finally being named. Cut ties with the projects, patterns, or even people that you know deep down are leaking your energy. You don't need another month of overthinking. You need a week of clarity. When I reflect on how this kind of shift happens in people's lives, I'm always reminded of something simple but powerful: movement follows belief. I've seen people go years thinking they missed their moment, only to experience a single day that turns everything around. But the day only comes when they decide that delay is no longer an identity. You don't have to hustle harder. You just have to stop carrying what you know is expired. If it helps, take this one sentence with you today and say it out loud, even quietly, even just to yourself. I welcome back every flow that has been blocked lawfully, easily, and right on time. You'll be surprised how different things feel when you no longer chase, but invite. There's no need to force the doors open. They're already unlocked. All that's left is for you to walk through and claim what is, and always was, yours. Not every decision in life is meant to come from a spreadsheet or a checklist. Some of the most transformative moments arrive quietly, carried in on a wave of intuition you can't fully explain, and that's the essence of the number 7. If you've ever paused before making a big decision and felt a subtle knowing arise from somewhere deeper than thought, that's the guidance this number brings. It's the energy of spiritual intelligence, the kind that doesn't shout but whispers, the kind that doesn't always make sense on paper, but feels deeply, unmistakably right in your body. After the unblocking of flow with number 36, what comes next isn't more movement, it's more clarity. Number 7 is not about action for the sake of action, it's about refined presence. It shows up when you're being asked to shift from proving to trusting, from analyzing to aligning. This is especially relevant if your mind has been overworking lately, constantly checking, questioning, trying to predict every outcome. That kind of overthinking isn't a flaw, it's a signal. It's your intuition trying to break through the noise. In astrology, the number 7 resonates with Neptune and the higher vibrations of Mercury. These energies ask us to balance logic with feeling, intellect with soul sense. You may have found yourself in situations recently where something looked good, the job, the person, the timing, but something didn't sit right. You hesitated, maybe second-guessed yourself. But Libra, that hesitation wasn't doubt. It was discernment. And number 7 reminds you that discernment is sacred. This number doesn't call you to rush forward, it calls you to deepen inward. Not to delay your life, but to refine your choices. It's often in these moments that you're led to write again, to journal not for clarity, but for communion. To listen, not for signs, but for peace. You don't have to abandon structure, but you do need to give your internal compass permission to guide the process. Ask yourself honestly, am I doing this because it's aligned, or because I'm afraid not to? Physically, this kind of misalignment can show up as restlessness, trouble sleeping, or tension behind the eyes, signals from your nervous system that your inner knowing has been put on mute. The pineal gland, the so-called seat of intuition, thrives on stillness, not stimulation. So if your dreams have felt intense, or your sleep shallow, it's your system's way of processing what your daytime thoughts are ignoring. You don't have to withdraw from the world to honor this energy, you simply need to pause long enough to feel where your yes and no truly live. You might find that in the quiet, a forgotten truth rises. A choice that once felt cloudy becomes clear. And it won't be because someone told you, or because the evidence added up, but because you remembered how to listen to your own internal rhythm. Sometimes, the most financially sound decision is the one that supports your nervous system. The most strategic move is the one that doesn't compromise your peace. And the most successful path is the one that makes room for your full self, not just your marketable skills. What number 7 teaches is this: when you align with what's right for you, not what's expected, the universe reroutes abundance in your direction anyway. You are not here to follow a script that doesn't feel like your own. You are here to follow the thread of resonance, even if it leads you somewhere unfamiliar. Trust that when you walk with clarity, even if slowly, you'll always arrive exactly where you need to be. That's not magic, that's alignment. By the time you arrive at the vibration of 33 and 14, something inside you has already begun to shift. The clarity invited by number 7 has softened your inner world enough to recognize what's truly working, and now, the energy asks you not to overhaul, but to refine. These two numbers move together like an unshakable rhythm and a graceful dance. One offers stability through consistency, while the other offers prosperity through adaptability. And together, they form the foundation of sustainable wealth, not just financial wealth, but energetic wealth, emotional resilience, and inner peace. Number 33 is a master builder. It reminds us that the most powerful structures in life, whether financial security, physical health, or emotional trust, aren't built by one-time bursts of energy, but by repeated acts of care. That daily habit of checking your budget. That journal you return to every night, even when you feel blank. That intentional breath you take before answering a stressful email. These don't seem heroic, but they are. They're the bricks and mortar of a life that holds you. If you've been scattered or inconsistent, this number isn't here to scold you. It's here to realign you. To remind you that you don't need to do everything. You just need to do what matters and do it regularly. In astrology, this is the Virgo principle: order, routine, devotion to the meaningful. And when number 33 shows up, it's often your cue to come back to your rituals not as rigid rules, but as anchors that keep you grounded when life pulls you off course. Your body responds to this rhythm, too. The spine associated with 33 is your literal and energetic support system. When you stand tall, your nervous system settles, your breath deepens, and your mind becomes clearer. If you've been slouching more lately, feeling weighed down, it may not be just posture. It may be a sign that your spirit is asking for stability. A return to center. A reminder that you are allowed to carry yourself like someone who is worthy of what they want because you are. In harmony with 33, number 14 enters like a breeze through an open window. Its energy is light, agile, and intelligent. It brings opportunities that don't require you to struggle or burn out. Instead, it whispers, "What if it could be easier?" If you've been operating in the belief that only hard work earns rewards, this number wants to challenge that story. Maybe the extra income comes from something creative you already enjoy. Maybe the breakthrough idea arrives not during a hustle session, but in a quiet moment of rest. Maybe the financial flow returns not through control, but through your willingness to stay open. Your body feels this, too. Number 14 relates to digestion, reminding us that what we consume, food, information, emotion, needs time and spaciousness to integrate. Overeating, overthinking, overdoing. These are signs that your system needs simplification. A lighter plate. A shorter to-do list. A slower pace. Even a single day of simple, grateful eating can reset not just your digestion, but your entire frequency. Together, these two numbers invite you into a life where wealth and well-being walk hand in hand, where you can be both structured and soft, disciplined and open, focused and flowing. They ask you to see that your value is not determined by how much you do, but by how deeply you show up for what matters. And if you've been waiting for a sign that it's okay to step into a version of success that feels both stable and joyful, this is it. Consistency will open the door. Flexibility will keep it open. And you, Libra, have both within you, ready to be activated. Libra, if you're still here with me, breathing softly into this moment, open in heart and spirit, know this: you are not waiting for a miracle. You are the miracle in motion. These numbers, these messages, they haven't arrived to fix you. They've shown up to affirm what's already true inside you, that the path you've walked, even when uncertain, even when lonely, has always been guided by something greater. And now, something beautiful is unfolding. The universe doesn't reward perfection. It responds to presence. And Libra, you've been showing up. Quietly. Consistently. With grace. With growth. With integrity. And now these 6 divine numbers, 18, 42, 36, 7, 33, and 14, are simply the reflection of the energy you've already been cultivating. They are not your future. They are your return. Maybe you've spent years pushing, trying, proving. Maybe life didn't always give back what you gave. But this is not a time to dwell on what didn't come. It's a time to receive what's been on its way to you all along. The doors aren't locked anymore. The answers aren't distant. What if, instead of chasing more, you simply allowed enough to find you? I want you to really feel this in your bones. You don't have to fight for what fits your soul. You only need to recognize it and say yes. You've done so much inner work already. You've cleared space, made peace, and deepened trust. These numbers are not assignments. They are confirmations. Reminders. Love notes from the universe saying, I saw it all. Now let me give something back. So I ask you, with love, which number echoed in your chest like it had always been there? Which message wrapped around your intuition like a soft blanket of knowing? What felt less like a prediction and more like a homecoming? Let this be the moment you engage with your own future. Write it in the comments. I am ready to receive abundance from the number, and name the one that stirred your spirit. Not for luck, not for magic, but because your energy will respond when you give it a clear intention. There is power in naming. Power in claiming. Power in choosing. And Libra, I invite you to do just one small thing differently today. Whether it's journaling for 5 minutes, sipping your tea with both hands and presence, or standing tall while checking your balance, choose one ritual that supports your alignment. Let your body, your finances, your emotions know, we are safe to expand now. You've heard me say it before, and I'll say it again, this is not about chasing wealth. It's about coming home to the value that has always lived inside you. The money, the healing, the clarity, they are just reflections. The source was always you. Thank you truly for spending this sacred time with me here on Zodiac Whisper Tarot. Every view, every like, every thoughtful comment you share brings more light to this community. You are not just passing through. You are part of something greater. You are remembered. You are witnessed. You are welcomed. If this message touched something in you, if you felt your energy shift even slightly, please like this video, subscribe to stay connected with this evolving journey, and share it with someone you love, because frequency multiplies when it's passed on. We are not only calling in abundance. We are calling ourselves back into wholeness. And now, dear Libra, I leave you with this gentle question. What would happen if you truly trusted that your life is about to get better from this very moment on? Go live that answer. I'll be right here when you're ready for the next message.